There was some IG news from 49er wide receivers, and it wasn't bad news for once. All right. So, I know people are split on how important IG is and social media is and all this kind of stuff, but we are in the day and age of social media. Young bucks like you, Rohan, pay attention to it a lot more than old people like me. But there was, I guess, a picture that Brandon Ayuk put up of both Deebo and him talking about who the best best wide receiver duo is in the league.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk posted up the picture and tagged Deebo in it and says I like us or something along that line. And Deebo responds back in his story is something positive with a snake and then a fingers crossed sign. So does this mean anything to my resident millennial, Rohan? Does this mean anything in Instagram talk, or is this much ado about nothing?
That boy coming back. Give him the money. That boy. That's all. That's all that means. That's all that matters, bro. That boy coming back. But I mean, if we're talking like, yeah, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. It's good to see them. Like, obviously, we know that they're good friends. Obviously, we've seen the interaction between them before. But it's good to see them, like, talking live on like on social media in front of everybody, right? Talking about how they want to repeat. I mean, Deebo Samuel over the last couple of months after the trade request and all that has expressed desire, right, to return to the 49ers, be it showing up at training camp or showing up at mini camp, his social media stuff, and things like this. So to me, I mean, I think Deebo Samuel will return to the 49ers. I think many people now just expect it to happen. We've got about 3 weeks left before training camp starts, and I think Deebo Samuel will get signed closer to the end of the 3 week period near training camps beginning. I think that now everything is set for the 49ers. You have the contracts that have already happened. You had the McLaurin extension alongside the AJ Brown extension to set as parameters for the Deebo deal. Now you have the numbers to figure out what you want to do with this deal, be it a 3 year deal, be it a 4 year deal. I think this deal, it's just coming up to semantics. And I mean, negotiating takes time, right? Do you want what type of deal do you want? The amount of guarantees and all that kind of stuff. So I do think this deal ends up happening. I think the next time Deebo Samuel steps on a field, he'll have his contract ready.
Yeah, and I mean, this is another, I guess, point of reference to show that this never had anything to do about the players on the team or I think the team overall. This was strictly a financial thing. This is strictly all negotiating tactics because Deebo wants to make sure that he's not playing on the same rookie deal that he's been playing on for the last 4 years. He's clearly outgraded his contract. He wants to make sure that he's taking care of his family and putting them, setting themselves up for the rest of their life. And that was what this was all about. Whether or not you agree with the way that Deebo went about it, you got to feel for his intentions because he definitely knows that, he's a little bit of an older receiver compared to the other receivers in his draft class. He's, I think, outplayed all the receivers in his draft class. And he's been underpaid for the amount of impact that he's had for the 49ers. So it's nice to see that this was like, I think, the first tweet or Instagram post that really kind of gave some signals that he wants to come back, right? He wants to play with these guys. He hasn't been really responding to his teammates too much in social media. And not because his teammates weren't really shouting him out either. They kind of respected the negotiations. But now I think this kind of is a signal that everybody knows it's all good. And so Brandon Ayuk throws it out. Deebo responds with the crossed fingers, like, let's hope that it happens. And I think we all know that the 49ers know it'll be criminal to not bring Deebo back on an extension. And I don't think they make that mistake.
Yeah, and one other thing, like we don't always hear chatter before the thing happens, right? Hell, the Baker Mayfield news this morning. I'm a late guy to get up, right? I woke up at probably like 10:45 this morning, and then I wake up and it says on my phone the first notification 1 minute ago, this guy Baker Mayfield gets traded to the Carolina Panthers. So I'm just waiting for that day where I wake up, just groggy-eyed, look at my phone, and it says Deebo Samuel signed his 4 year extension with the 49ers. That's all I'm waiting for. But I mean, it just shows that we don't necessarily need traction that like public traction, and the 49ers don't always give public traction, right? They're one of the organizations to kind of hide it and then just release the details when the details come. So I'm expecting it. I don't know. I don't think it'll happen sooner than later because we still got 3 weeks. But I mean, I think everyone would be happier if it's sooner than later. And it really depends on how DK's situation is going, right? Because if DK Metcalf doesn't begin training camp with a deal, then the 49ers, I think, are better because DK Metcalf will probably get the most money out of all of them if he's the last one to be paid. But if DK Metcalf gets his deal, then I think Deebo Samuel just gets a little more money and that situation's resolved.